This is an interesting one. Use what works now rather than wait. So this was in conversation with Dr. Himanshu Gupta, who is an orthopedic surgeon and a spine care specialist who operates out of Gurgaon in near Delhi in India. So he's a person who has been using telemedicine of sorts, certainly exchanging messages over the phone with his patients and collecting information about them when they try to make their first visit and all that. But with the pandemic, he had a unique problem. In the sense, patients were not able to come to his clinic because of the total lockdown in a place like Delhi. And at that time, telemedicine apps, at least in India, platforms were not in vogue or were not very widely adopted. So what he turned to is he started using WhatsApp video calls. Now, it turns out that at that time, there could be only four participants in a WhatsApp video call. And that turned out to be a problem for him because what he said is a lot of his patients are elderly patients, right? Uh, so when elderly patients, they typically come to the doctor, the doctor explains them, they ask multiple times to understand what they are. And then, they possibly get a printout, a prescription, and so many things. So then they have the complete picture of the information. Now, over a WhatsApp video call, right, it's a bit hard. So they would typically want their children who are in other cities or in other countries also to log into the WhatsApp call to understand what's going on, right? And obviously, their children are also in, COVID affected and they are in lockdown. So they would also have the interest to know what the doctor is going to say to their parents. So this presented an interesting challenge for Dr. Gupta because in a typical WhatsApp call, he would be there, his assistant has to log in, then some person who does the administration and billing was logging in, and then he had one slot for the patients. But now he needed to open up more slots because they were the patients, relatives, and children from other parts of the world who wanted to, come in on that call. So he had a challenge where he had to drop, some people or the other to make it work. Now, luckily, during that time, apparently WhatsApp increased the video call participation to 8 participants, and that has really helped him. So again, the lesson really is Dr. Gupta quickly adapted to what he could work with his patients. It may not be the perfect solution. It may not, tick all the boxes, but it certainly helped. And over time, obviously, with the WhatsApp video call participants increasing to 8, that helped his cause. And now he's probably moved on to a proper telemedicine platform and all that. But the lesson for me really is when we are building solutions, most often we will find that people will use what works now, what meets their use case, rather than wait for a perfect solution. So it's rather that we build and iterate and release it and iterate on it depending on what people like, rather than sit back and build the perfect solution.